Let's talk about Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, and the San Francisco 49ers. Over the last 24 hours, there has been a lot of reporters, a lot of people working within the national media, and even some Hall of Famers questioning, is Mac Jones a better quarterback than Brock Purdy? And is there a quarterback controversy with the San Francisco 49ers? I want to say this early on in this video. Brock Purdy should be and will be the starting quarterback for the 49ers when he's fully healthy. Let's look at the full picture here for Brock Purdy, and then we'll get into the Mac Jones conversation. Brock Purdy signed a 5-year contract extension this offseason worth $265 million, $181 million fully guaranteed. That's not a crazy contract because they can move off this contract after year 3. But the reason why I say it's not a crazy contract, Brock Purdy, he saved the jobs of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. They gave up a bunch of draft picks and a bunch of resources in general to select Trey Lance in the first round, who was a bust. He could not work within this system. And this is one of the best quarterback systems in NFL history. We've seen Kyle Shanahan work with Mac Schaub. That man became a Pro Bowler in that system. Matt Ryan, his time the Atlanta Falcons when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator, won an MVP. RG3, Rookie of the Year over Andrew Luck. He got the most out of Jimmy Garoppolo. He went to the NFC Championship game with Jimmy Garoppolo as a starter. They went to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo against Kansas City as a starter. So Trey Lance wasn't able to work out. It was a bad draft pick with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. And you know what? It happens. But you select Brock Purdy with the last pick. He's Mr. Irrelevant. He comes in his rookie season behind Trey Lance, breaks his ankle. They go back to Jimmy Garoppolo. He breaks his foot. The playbook was not meant for Brock Purdy. The system was not built around him. It was built around Trey Lance because that offseason, they were prepared for him to be the starting quarterback. He comes in. They go undefeated. They go to the NFC Championship game. They lose to the Philadelphia Eagles, but he tears a UCL in his elbow. The next year, Brock Purdy goes on a tear. He's an MVP candidate with Christian McCaffrey. Dishing the football out to George Kittle, the same with a healthy Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, uplifting the system around him. They went out there and scored more points with Brock Purdy than they did with Jimmy Garoppolo. And obviously the same with Trey Lance, but the offense looked better with Brock Purdy. And you go to the Super Bowl against Kansas City. They lost that matchup, but that was not on Brock Purdy. He played a very good game in that Super Bowl. He was able to go outside, make a lot of plays with his legs. And that's the difference so far with Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, and Mac Jones. Brock Purdy and his athleticism. He can make a bunch of sweet throws across the middle of the field over and over again when he's fully healthy. They lost that Super Bowl because their defense let them down. Steve Wilks was not a terrible defensive mind, but he did not fit the system with Kyle Shanahan. He wanted a defensive coordinator to coach through the front seven. Steve Wilks is a secondaries coach. And Kyle Shanahan also let them down in overtime. They did not know the overtime rules. That's on Kyle Shanahan. And sure, Brock Purdy missed some throws. But anytime he had a chance to step up inside the pocket, evade a defender or two, he was making those plays over and over again. And we go to last year. It was an off year for the 49ers. They dealt with a lot of injuries. This is the thing here. Brock Purdy still kept them in football games. The special teams unit let them down, and their defense was not good last year with Coach Sorensen. Their rushing defense was terrible. And yet Brock Purdy kept them in every single matchup possible. Sure, he did have some turnovers that made you scratch your head, but that's going to happen with any quarterback in this league. It's happened with Joe Burrow. It's happened with Patrick Mahomes. It's happened with some of the best quarterback talents that we've ever seen. But this is the one thing here. You go back to last year's game, because I'm recording this a day after they defeated the Los Angeles Rams. The 49ers did lose a game last year to the Rams 27-24. But listen to these numbers here with Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey was out. Deebo Samuel was out. George Kittle was out. Brandon Ayuk might as well have been out because when he was doing the entire hold-in situation, he wasn't practicing with the team. He wanted his money. They paid him. He went down with a knee injury. But you look at the numbers with Brock Purdy, 22 of 30. They had 4 drops in that matchup, 292 passing yards, 10 yards an attempt, 3 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 41 rushing yards, 4 first downs on long scrambles alone. He got sacked once in this matchup. He did get pressured 9 times. But the special teams unit let them down in this matchup because Jake Moody was terrible. He was a horrible kicker. He missed so many kicks last year. They would have easily been a playoff team if he would have went out there and made his kicks. That's why they just moved on from him this year and they brought in a brand new kicker. And your defense allowed 27 points to begin with. So this entire conversation that Brock Purdy is just a system quarterback, he's uplifted the system. We've seen Kyle Shanahan go out there and work with quarterbacks before. Sure, I will give you that. He's an amazing offensive coach. That's why he has 2 Super Bowl appearances as a head coach. And he has a Super Bowl appearance as an offensive coordinator with the Atlanta Falcons. I will never come on here and say that Kyle Shanahan is a bad coach. He's an amazing offensive coach. He's a QB whisperer, and the same with his dad, Mike Shanahan. But the disrespect that Brock Purdy is getting right now is ridiculous. This man saved the jobs of Kyle Shanahan, and the same with John Lynch. And now when we talk about Mac Jones here, Mac Jones is 3-0 as a starter this season. Now don't get it twisted. I still think that Mac Jones is a solid quarterback to have, even as a starter. Imagine him on the Miami Dolphins right now with Coach McDaniel. I know that Tyreek Hill went down with a brutal knee injury Monday night, but imagine him in that system over Tua. He has better anticipation, better accuracy across the middle of the field. But this is the thing here with Mac Jones. Let's not act like he's a scrub either. It's the reason why he was a first-round pick many years ago to the New England Patriots. There were a lot of conversations in the 49ers building. Should they go with Trey Lance or should they go with Mac Jones? They went with Trey Lance. Mac Jones' rookie season with Josh McDaniels, they made the NFL playoffs. He did have a bunch of turnovers that season. Let's not act like he went out there and he did a very good job of taking care of the football, but he was a rookie. He had a very good rookie year. The reason why his career went to the wayside with the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick lost his damn mind. He had Matt Patricia calling offensive plays the next season after Josh McDaniels went to become the head coach with the Las Vegas Raiders. And for the ones that don't know, Matt Patricia never called offensive plays in the NFL. He was a defensive coordinator. He had him and Joe Judge battling for the spot in the preseason, and the offensive line was terrible. They did not have elite talent on the offensive end, and Bill Belichick is not an offensive head coach. He just had the best quarterback of all time in Tom Brady. He never went out there and he never had a heavy control of the offense. He's more so of a defensive mind. And in my opinion, he is still one of, if not the best head coach in NFL history. But turnovers were a huge problem with Mac Jones. Then they brought in Bill O'Brien. Things just did not work out with the Patriots. So he becomes the backup with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Has some good moments, has some bad moments. He looked like your typical backup. So now he comes over to the San Francisco 49ers. He's getting the football out quick. He's making some sweet passes across the middle of the field. The difference is this between Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. And I'm a big Mac Jones fan dating back to Alabama. He's an old school quarterback. He's prototypical 5-step drop. He's not going to move around. So when he goes against certain blitzes, when he goes against certain pressures, he can't go out there. He can't avoid defenders like Brock Purdy. In terms of going out there and getting the football out quick on some check routes, swing routes out of the backfield, he has your back. And this has been the case so far with the 49ers. The first matchup against the Saints, he had 3 passing touchdowns, 279 passing yards. He's letting his playmakers go out there and do the work for him. Nothing is wrong with that. You take what the defense gives you. There is nothing wrong with taking the check down. But he's not going to make those deep passes across the middle of the field over and over again on a consistent basis like Brock Purdy. And we know this because we've seen him with the Jacksonville Jaguars with a top wide receiver and Brian Thomas Jr. He did have some sweet passes down the field, but some of those passes went for interceptions. He's known for killing you underneath. And this is the one thing with Kyle Shanahan, a bunch of curl routes, a bunch of slant routes over and over again, digs and hitches, they'll help you out. And that's pretty much it for Mac Jones. Against the Arizona Cardinals, 27 of 41, 264 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, but he had a brutal interception late in the matchup. And they still won this matchup because he did lead them on the game-winning drive. They won that matchup 16-15. Your brand new kicker came out there. He made the game-winning field goal. Icing on the cake for the 49ers. And against the Los Angeles Rams, they were up 14-0 in this matchup. The Rams were mounting a comeback. You could say the play calls were conservative with Kyle Shanahan? Sure. But what does that have to say about Mac Jones and the relationship so far with Shanahan? In certain moments, he will go conservative. This is what he did against the Saints. This is what he did against the Arizona Cardinals. With Brock Purdy, they will blow you out. They will beat you by three to four possessions, even when the team is not fully healthy. And once again, this is no shade towards Mac Jones. He's playing out of his mind right now. And against the Rams, 33 of 49, 342 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. That's impressive. So I don't want this to be a situation to where it seems like I'm hating on Mac Jones. He deserves all the credit that he's getting right now and all the love. I'm just asking a lot of you guys, do not be prisoner of the moment. Do not fall into that trap of, well, if Mac Jones was drafted by the 49ers years ago, the offense will look the same. No, it wouldn't. The athleticism is a huge component to this offense here. They're not running many plash and bootlegs right now. That's the bread and butter with Brock Purdy. And when you look at Brock Purdy this season, that first game against Seattle, he had 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They won that matchup 17-13. I will give you that. He did not have a great game, but he entered this season dealing with an injury. He had a shoulder injury and a toe injury. Now, we did not know that this was turf toe until he was taken out of action in practice in week 2. That's when they went with Mac Jones. Then they rushed him back last week because Mac Jones, he was banged up. A lot of people don't know this. They had 3 quarterbacks last week take first team reps in practice. That is very rare. They had Adrian Martinez, who was a third string, Mac Jones, and Brock Purdy. They realized, hey, Mac's a little beat up right now. Brock, can you give us 60-70%? Brock says, sure, he's a competitor. He goes out there, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions against the Jaguars, and he also had a crucial fumble. But he's not fully healthy. In the first and the second quarter, he's moving around. He looks like Brock Purdy. He looks good. But late in that matchup, he takes a sack. You see him starting to limp around. He's not the same player. So now he can't move around. It's more so of a scarecrow inside the pocket. And turf toe is a serious injury. Ask Deion Sanders. Ask Joe Burrow. Now, this is not a severe turf toe injury to where he has to have surgery, but it's severe enough to where now he's listed to week. And I hate the situation that the national media tries to create. This entire, well, if this backup quarterback comes in, he looks good for a couple games, you go with him. Then as soon as he plays bad, they come in and they'll just say, we knew he was a backup quarterback, let's bring in the starter. I'm looking at it from a realistic standpoint here. Mac Jones has a 2-year contract with this team. He has this season and next season on his deal. This is a very good situation to have. If Brock Purdy can't be fully healthy over the next few weeks, you go in with Mac Jones. If Brock Purdy's fully healthy, he looks good and he's up to it, he's 100%, you go with Brock Purdy because it's higher upside with this offense with Brock Purdy. I know the situations have been different, but Mac Jones has not won a playoff game, and that's not all on him. That's on the team. I want to say that again. He's 0-1 in the playoffs. That's more so on Bill Belichick and the team around him. But he did get blasted by the Buffalo Bills in that playoff game. Brock Purdy, in his young career, he has experience an NFC Championship game and a Super Bowl appearance. You don't just throw that talent to the wayside here. And when the 49ers get fully healthy, they will be a main elite contender this season in the NFC. And one more thing about the national media narrative here. These are the same people that were saying that the Super Bowl window was closed before the season started. They didn't have faith in Christian McCaffrey being fully healthy. He's been a phenomenal player this year. Has the highest usage rate in the NFL, sitting at now 47.5%. Because that man was dealing with injuries last year. Before the season started, he had Achilles tendonitis. Then he tore his PCL against the Buffalo Bills in that snow game. Brandon Ayuk got injured last year. We haven't seen him play a single down this season. They're saying that the 49ers are old and they're slow. That hasn't been the case. They go out there and they draft all those Russian defenders on the defense side of the ball. You bring back Robert Saleh. Now you have your defense back together. We haven't seen this defense play this well since DeMeco Ryans. And that's another thing to bring up. Last night's game, Mac Jones deserves to get a lot of love. Let's not sleep on this defense. That fumble with Kyron Williams, that 4th and 1 stand to end the game. This defense is legit with Robert Saleh. And they no longer have those players like Hufanga. They don't have Dre Greenlaw, who's injury prone with this organization. Charvarius Ward. It's a group effort here. It's just not one player. So when Brock Purdy is fully back, he's healthy, you put him back in the lineup. He's not. He's dealing with turf toe. You don't want this to be a Joe Burrow situation. You stick with Mac Jones. And hopefully Brandon Ayuk can come back and hopefully he can play this season. And he may not be the same player. And for all the people that are saying, well, Brock Purdy is the system quarterback, Mac Jones looks very good in the system. Where's this crowd for Brandon Ayuk? Kendrick Bourne went out and had 10 catches for 182 receiving yards last night. Does that make Brandon Ayuk a system wide receiver? And we've seen a lot of wide receivers in Kyle Shanahan's system with the Atlanta Falcons, and the same with the 49ers, have some good years. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Kendrick Bourne, Jawan Jennings. Ricky Pearsall has been very good so far, even though he's been dealing with injuries, but was a very good rookie last year when he was able to step into the field. We've seen tight ends go out there and have very good production. Does that make those players system players? I don't believe so. And this is what coaching should do. It should make every player on the field look good from week to week because you're putting your players in the best situation possible. This is how I know we have a lot of bad coaching in today's game, because when we see backups go out there, everyone, they're confused, they're shocked, they're saying, we didn't see him look like this with the previous team. No, you just have a very good coach that can coach to your strengths. And I have said this so many times. All of these players that you see in the NFL, they deserve to be here. They were elite in college. The talent is there. Your situation and your coaching really matters. That's it. You look at Sam Darnold now. He was a backup in this system behind Brock Purdy. Imagine he comes out of Brock Purdy, goes down for a couple games, and he looks like this. Then you'll be hearing a lot of people say Sam Darnold is going to be the next best quarterback in the Shanahan system. But you look at him with the Jets, terrible coaching staff, terrible organization. He goes over to the Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell. Now he's a very good quarterback in the league. Baker Mayfield was in QB hell with the Cleveland Browns. That's offensive hell. He goes over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers years later. Now he's a star quarterback in this league, it seems like. Your situation and your coaching matters. And Kyle Shanahan is a top coach. No matter what quarterback you give him, he's going to make the best out of that situation. You just have to trust into the system. But the thing with Brock Purdy, it's a bit different because he can go out there and he can make a lot of plays outside the system. That's all that I'm saying. And that is why Kyle Shanahan wanted a scrambling quarterback. He was so in love with RG3, and when RG3 went down, he hated that. And years later, he thought that he had another RG3 in Trey Lance. You now have Brock Purdy. He's no RG3. He's no Cam Newton. He's no Lamar Jackson in terms of running the football. But when the system breaks down, he can point open wide receivers. He can improvise for you. You're not going to have that with Mac Jones. But let me know in the comment section below how you feel about this entire situation with Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, and the 49ers. And I think that it's one of the best situations to be in. You have this quality backup that can come in if your starting quarterback is down. He can win you some football games. He can help you win. He's not going to put the football in harm's way. He's going to play in the system. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.